That was a good one. Hello folks, Shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another awesome video. Yes, I've come out of my semi-retirement state to present you with this review. I decided, hey, this is the big one, I need to put out a video. I'm still not 100%. In fact, my teeth are actually a lot worse. I cannot chew for shit. As you can't see, but I will not be able to chew solid foods for the next month or so. So anyway, I took my Motrin, and so I'm going to be out in like the next 30 minutes or so, but I figured now is the time to pull out a new video. It's Sunday. You know what that means? Time for some wrestling. The biggest show of the year, WrestleMania 32. Although they don't call it 32, they just wanted to say it. But anyway, it's the biggest show of the year, longer than it's ever been, in the biggest arena they've ever been in. Hoping to break that attendance record set by the Pontiac Silverdome, I think at WrestleMania 3, I remember. So, how was the show? I got my notes right here. Let's get started, shall we? We start with our 2-hour pre-show. Yes, you heard me, the pre-show was 2 fucking hours. And we start with the United States title match. Kalisto versus Ryback. This was a serviceable match, decent in its execution. They played up the whole David versus Goliath thing, with Ryback being more dominant with his pure power, and Kalisto showing off his speed and agility. The end comes when Kalisto accidentally pulls the covering off the middle turnbuckle. Then Ryback goes to charge at him, but Kalisto knocks his head into the exposed turnbuckle, then hits the Cilino del Sol. 1, 2, 3. Kalisto retains. Next up, we have a Divas Clusterfuck, Team Total Divas, versus Team Bad and Blonde. I'm not even going to go through the names because I really didn't care for this match. All I know is this was pretty much the first in-ring debut of Lana. That's right, that Lana. She did alright. She was only in the ring for like 3 minutes or so. That's being generous. She threw some kicks, then got tagged out. Shit got fucked up, and the Total Divas won. It was a passable clusterfuck, but still a clusterfuck. Last of our pre-show matches, the Usos take on the Dudley Boyz. This was an alright tag team match. No real stipulations involved. It was just a solid tag team match between the most decorated tag team in professional wrestling against an up-and-coming tag team. Nice back and forth, but in the end, the Usos pick up the win. The Dudleys decide to break out the tables anyway to put them through the tables, but the Usos counter and put them through tables. We got those out of the way. Now, for the main roster, for the big show, WrestleMania. So anyway, we start the show off with our Intercontinental title ladder match. Participants including Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, Sami Zayn, who came to a raucous applause, Stardust, Sin Cara, Zack Ryder, and the champion, Kevin Owens. If you told me last year that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn would be making their debut match for WrestleMania at the same time for the same belt, I'd call you crazy. But anyway, this was an awesome ladder match. You got all these guys in the ring. They're all doing crazy shit. There's some amazing spots in this entire match. Some done by Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn did an amazing spot where he jumped through a ladder outside to the ring and took out everyone. Stardust got put through a ladder. But surprisingly, the winner and the new Intercontinental Champion, Zack Ryder. I was kind of hoping for Sami Zayn or at least Kevin Owens to retain so they can have a feud for the belt, but I'm okay with Zack Ryder winning. He really deserves to win. He's been with the company a long time. He really deserves his WrestleMania moment, and his dad was there, even though his dad still likes John Morrison. Next up, the 4th match in the series, Y2J Chris Jericho takes on the phenomenal AJ Styles. What can you say about this match? It was fucking great. These two always put on a great performance with these type of matchups. But surprisingly, Y2J picks up the win. I figured they were going to let AJ go over on him. But at this point, if the matches are good, then I really wouldn't care. So, you know what? I can buy this. I can see Jericho really kind of needed the win to even things out a little bit. They might have a rubber match. They might not. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Next up, The New Day. All 3 members versus 3 members of the League of Nations. The New Day came out in the first big entrance of the night in a big box of booty-os. Booty-os. They make sure you ain't booty. But what's more important? Those 3 came out in fucking Saiyan armor. Let me repeat that. The New Day came out of a giant box of cereal dressed as Saiyans. For those of you who don't know, Saiyans are characters from the popular anime Dragon Ball Z. Hell, Xavier Woods' hair was styled like Vegeta's hair. It's awesome. That's why I love the New Day. This was a very good match. Very, very nice tag team, 6-man tag team match. The belts weren't on the line, which I'm okay with. They were going back and forth, but in the end, it was thanks to an impromptu bull hammer from His Majesty the King, Wade Barrett, and a bro kick from Bebop himself, Sheamus, that gives the lads, as they call them, the win. Barrett gets on the mic and talks about how there is no group of men that are bad enough to take them on. Then out comes HBK, Shawn Michaels, looking ready to kick some ass, but he's not alone. He's joined by the hardcore legend, a fellow Hall of Famer, Mick Foley. And if that wasn't enough, then we had Stone Cold Steve Austin in the mix, and they come out to start kicking some ass. Now, a lot of people say that these guys are just burying the League of Nations. I would say this would be burying if this was actually a match, but it was just a brawl. This was just a WrestleMania moment. WrestleMania has these sort of things. They have these moments, and this was a moment in and of itself. 3 verified and 3 Hall of Famers, 3 men who have had legendary careers, just coming out for a one-time thing, just to bring smiles to the people's faces. After beating up the League of Nations, and kudos to fucking Rusev for selling the fuck out of that stunner, the New Day come in and convince the other 3 to dance with them. Shawn Michaels, he did alright for himself. Mick, I love you, Mick, but you really shouldn't dance. No, too many wobbly bits. Stone Cold actually got down a little bit with Xavier Woods, but not so much that he eats a stunner. Beers were had by all. Yay. Next up, the Clash of the Beasts. Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose. No hose barred street fight. This was an enjoyable little brawl that we had. Brock gave him everything that he had, and Dean gave it all the more. I mean, out of all the members of the Shield that Brock Lesnar has faced, Dean Ambrose gave him the most fight. This was not a squash. This is not a curb stomp in any way. Dean Ambrose brought the fight to Brock Lesnar. But of course, after 13 suplexes and an F5 on a mountain of chairs, the Conqueror, Brock Lesnar, comes out victorious. Next up, for the WWE Women's Title, before I want to say that, the Women's Title. Yes, you heard me. Before in the pre-show, Lita came out and announced that as of tonight, they are retiring. Thank God, retiring the Divas title. Getting rid of that fucking disgusting-ass butterfly belt and giving them a proper title. The WWE Women's Title. Because with these 3 women, they need all the respect in the world for it. So the belt basically looks like the World Heavyweight title, just white instead of black. It looks marvelous. It looks like a proper title, unlike that butterfly bullshit that we've had to put up with for years. But anyway, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Title. And we should also note that Sasha came out with her cousin, Snoop Dogg, singing her to the ring for her theme song. That's right. If you didn't know, Sasha Banks' first cousin is Snoop Dogg. That's right, that's Snoop Dogg. Now, Hall of Famer, Snoop Dogg. That must have been such a great moment for both of them, that I couldn't imagine a better moment for them. Anyway, this match, I have to say, this was the best fucking match of the night. This raised the bar again for women wrestling in this company. This wasn't divas going at it. These were women wrestling. This was the best. This was not just this was by far the best women's match in the history of WrestleMania, period. This was not a throwaway match. The fans were hyped for it because they knew these three women were going to put out a great match, and they did not disappoint. We saw a lot of great spots. Kudos to Charlotte for pulling off a beautiful moonsault off the top rope onto Sasha and Becky. This was a fantastic, fantastic match. Charlotte picked up the win with a little bit of assistance from her father. I'm okay with it because he didn't exactly get involved. He just kept Sasha from interfering in Charlotte making Becky tap out. But I really didn't care who won because all of these women deserved a standing ovation. They gave us a fantastic match, worthy to be not just one of the greatest women's match of in WrestleMania history, but one of the all-time great matches in WrestleMania history. Kudos, ladies. Kudos. Next up, Legacy versus Career. Shane McMahon takes on The Undertaker. Hell in a Cell. If Shane wins, he gains control of Raw. If Undertaker loses, then he will have to retire. This will be his last WrestleMania. This was a brutal fucking ass match. These two guys beat the ever-loving piss out of each other. Really, this was just fucking brutal. I mean, you got one guy who was 45 and the other one who was in his 50s, and they were just doing shit all up in there. Probably the spot that everyone has been talking about is what happened towards the end of the match. They both get Undertaker rams them both outside the ring. There's some other stuff happens. Spanish Knives paper gets taken out. Shane McMahon beats the crap out of Undertaker with a toolbox. Then he looks up and he does what pretty much I knew and everyone who's ever known Shane McMahon was going to do. He climbed to the top of the cage and he jumped. For the first time ever in the history of the WWE, someone actually jumped willingly off the top of the Hell in a Cell. I say this because we've had people go off the top of the Hell in a Cell. Mick Foley, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Rikishi, and there might be one or two I'm missing. But Shane was the first to jump. He leapt off the top of that cage. He missed Taker because Taker moved out of the way, but I'm like, everybody was like, God damn, I hope he's not dead. Not only was Shane still conscious, but he still wanted to fight. And he kept saying, come get him. He just kept asking Taker to come on with it. And Taker mercifully put him out of his misery. 1, 2, 3. Whoa. Now, there are a lot of people who say that this was unnecessary, that it was stupid, that the match was pointless because if Shane was going to lose. I'm just happy they gave us something. And people say, oh, Shane McMahon, he would put his life into, like, you must not know that what Shane McMahon does, what he's notorious for. Sure, that could have really hurt. That could have he had to be stretchered out. But remember, this is the same guy who fell higher than the 20 feet of the Hell in a Cell when he fought Steve Blackman. It's the same guy who jumped off the top of the Titantron onto the Big Show to beat his ass. The same guy who was nearly crippled during his street fight with Kurt Angle at King of the Ring. Shane McMahon is crazy. Probably the craziest son of a bitch you ever step in the ring. I knew this was going to happen. I didn't bet any money on it happening, but I knew it was going to happen because Shane McMahon is that crazy, and to put on a good match. That's the kind of person that he is. And if you didn't expect that, then really you don't know as much wrestling as you think you do. But yeah, mad respect for Shane for doing that insane shit. I could never do that shit. I don't think Mick Foley would ever do that shit. But yeah. Next up. Surprisingly placed, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And we had some very interesting surprise entrants. Tatanka was there. The Social Outcasts were there. Yes, you heard me. Tatanka. That Tatanka. Diamond Dallas Page. Trying to promote that DDP yoga. And probably the most surprising entrant of them all, Shaquille O'Neal. That's right. NBA superstar Shaquille O'Neal. Huh. There were some interesting moments with Shaquille. He threw some people out of the ring, but he got eliminated by the Big Show, I believe. But the final winner, something I'm very happy about, was Baron Corbin. That's right. Baron Corbin, the lone wolf of NXT, won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Kudos, I always knew there was something great about this guy, and I'm glad that his first exposure on the main roster is winning this. Now let's hope that he can avoid the same curse that befell Big Show and Cesaro, who have won past Andre the Giant Battle Royals. Next up, Rock comes out with a flamethrower. I'm serious, he comes out there with a fucking flamethrower. Gets the crowd amped up and tells them that, of course, they broke the indoor attendance record for a WrestleMania, with just a little over 100,000 people. Then the Wyatt family came out, minus Luke Harper, because Luke Harper is on the laundry list of people who got injured. And Bray Wyatt is in that much of a best state because his back is fucked up. Bray comes out and he says that he's chosen The Rock to be his sacrifice to his greatness. Rock actually starts to put Bray over, telling them that he has everything that he needs to be great in this business. But of course, he rips into the Wyatt family. And he decides, hey, let's not have a fight. Let's have a match. So, surprisingly, we have another match. The Rock versus Eric Rowan. And what a match it was. It lasted only 6 seconds, and Rock won. But the Wyatts, of course, don't really care about wins and losses, instead just making a message. And surprisingly enough, John Cena comes out. This is the part where I should be unhappy, but for some reason, I'm actually not. I'm very happy to see John. Maybe it's the fact that he hasn't been around for a while. Maybe it's the fact that I really enjoyed the U.S. Open title, the U.S. United States Championship Open title matches. But I really enjoy seeing John Cena come back. They fight off the Wyatts to an amazing pop and beat the crap out of the Wyatts. Good to see him. And now, the match I was dreading. The match that I can honestly say was the down spot of this otherwise good WrestleMania. Roman Reigns versus Triple H, the World Heavyweight title. Triple H, of course, comes out. Two awesome entrances because Triple H has to make a gaudy entrance because he's the fucking King of Kings. Say what you will about Triple H's entrances. They were interesting. And Roman, of course, for the first time, comes out properly through the entrance ramp and not through the fucking crowd. What to say about this match? No one cared. Honestly, this might be, as far as fan reaction goes, this might be the worst WrestleMania main event we've had in a long time, if ever. Not to say that the match was bad. It was passable. It was decent for what it was. But the fans just were not into this. Roman got universally booed by 100,000 people. Triple H as someone in the CBR forums put it, a racist, necrophiliac, drugged rapist who drugged his wife into marrying him and personally assaulted half of her family is getting more cheers than Roman Reigns. It was getting so bad that someone actually tweeted to me that during the match, people were actually filing out of the arena. They were actually leaving during the match. This match was so uninteresting to them, they were chanting for Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura, who is not even in the card, who's probably not even in the city right now after that balls amazing match he had with Sami Zayn at TakeOver Dallas 2 days ago, was being cheered more than this match. And I don't blame them. We know the outcome of this match. You know the outcome of this match. There was really, as much as they tried to drag it out, as much as they tried to make Triple H and Stephanie look like the heels, the fans were just not having it. Every time Triple H got offense in, he got cheered like The Rock. When Roman Reigns got offense in, he got booed to shit. Which, I decided to keep myself interested because I really wasn't caring about this match. So, I came up with a new game, and I'm going to share it with you. It's called, What's Things That Are More Over Than Roman Reigns? That's where you name a person, place, or thing that is more over than Roman Reigns. I got some interesting answers. Bull Dempsey. Let's see, the Spanish announce table, the guy who sells churros outside the arena, the guy who was holding up the Vince is a dick sign, Michael Cole's bottle of Mountain Dew. Let's see, where is it? This half-empty bottle of warm Coca-Cola. Let's see, Yano's back sweat. Kenny Omega's hair, JBL's hat, CM Punk's t-shirt, CM Punk's staph infection. What else do we have here? Here's one from my friend T-Dub. El Dandy. Let's see. Stephanie McMahon's hair. And last but not least, the thing that is still more over than Roman Reigns was in that match. John Cena. Yeah, all those things were more over in this match than Roman Reigns. I don't even need to tell you who won. You already know who won. We all know who won. We knew who was going to win before tonight. We knew who was going to win last week. We knew who was going to win last month. We knew who was going to win at the end of the Royal Rumble that was 3 months ago. We all knew who the fuck was going to win this match. And if you didn't, you cannot call yourself a wrestling fan. Of course, Roman Reigns won. And they cut the audience mics and tried to put in piped-in cheers, but unfortunately you can't drown out those boos. This was not a very good way to end a WrestleMania, especially a good one like this one. So, my thoughts? I went into this not expecting it to be good because of the shitty builds and the shitty heat. And after the awesomeness that was NXT TakeOver Dallas, there was one thing me and my compatriots agreed upon. There was no way in hell that WrestleMania was going to beat NXT TakeOver Dallas. And they were right. This show was nowhere near as good as NXT TakeOver Dallas. Not to say it was bad. This was an entertaining show. I don't think there was a single really bad match to go. I'm not going to call the main event bad. It was just uninteresting. No one gave a single fuck about it because it was too predictable. A lot of the results of the matches, I don't really necessarily agree with, but I enjoyed them nonetheless. Best match of the night, the women's title. WrestleMania moment of the night, Shane McMahon jumping off the Hell in a Cell. But yeah, I was actually thoroughly entertained. I'm not mad. Even with Roman Reigns winning, because we all knew he was going to win. So that's why I came up with that game that I just mentioned. So yeah, that was WrestleMania. This year's WrestleMania. Now, next year's WrestleMania will be in The Rock's home state of Orlando, Florida. Yeah. So anyway, that's my video. Like what you see, you already know what to do. It's the end of the day, you already know what to do. Body slam that like button if you want. Subscribe. Don't really. It's up to you. Really. It's up to you, really. Like I said, my teeth are killing me, and the whole left side of my face is starting to hurt like a son of a bitch. I'm gonna wrap this up soon, but anyway, I want to keep this game going. So, if you watch this, leave in the comments below things that are more over than Roman Reigns. I'm interested to see what you think is more over than Roman Reigns at this point. Because tomorrow night, I don't envy that poor son of a bitch, because it's the Raw after WrestleMania. You know how that goes. So yeah, that's the game. Hashtag things that are more over than Roman Reigns. I want to make it a thing. So until next time, this has been Shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, saying good night. And Shane, I hope you're doing okay. Respect.